So welcome to the next video in the acquired agency. So welcome to the next video in Acquired's build and release program. What we're going to go over is building the perfect candidate. Now, this might look like an unusual title, but I'm going to explain. So just watch this video in full and hopefully it will give you some insight that you can start using straight away into your outbound, and of course that we'll implement into your outbound as well. So oftentimes as a recruiter, your most successful method of BD will be candidate-led. I'm not sure if you've noticed this. If you've done MPC or most placeable candidate type campaigns before, you would see how successful they can be in specific markets. If it hasn't been successful before, I'm going to break down at the end of the video why I think that is. But in general, across maybe 100 recruiters that we've spoken with, the vast majority, maybe 80 to 90%, if not more, would say candidate-led business development has led to the most amount of contracts being gained, right? So the most common form is really most placeable candidates, MPC. I've included the video here in this document. You can watch it. It's a video of iIntro going over what an MPC campaign is and how to utilize it effectively, right? This has probably got interest from business owners, hiring managers, or at least got your foot in the door. Now, that's really the point of an MPC campaign here, and that's the point of what we're doing with building a perfect candidate. Really, with an MPC or a perfect candidate, we don't really have the intention for this person to be placed most of the time, but it's used to get a good foot in the door, right? Before I get into all of that, there's a fundamental reason why recruitment is different to many other industries, right? That's why many other lead generation companies do not work in recruitment, because they're not tailored to this specific industry. This market is different because as a recruiter, you'll mainly be valued or judged on the strength of your candidate pool rather than your process. If it's an AI-driven process, machine learning, automated, you've got all of these things, that's not attractive to the company. The only thing that's attractive to the company is your network or access to high quality talent. That's the truth. So the strength of your candidate pool and your network is your main value proposition and your main offer. So instead of making the offer more attractive in theory terms, by reducing fees, adding in payment structures or payment plans, or doing your first placement free, if you were to actually increase the strength of your candidate pool and be more effective at marketing them, you would see more success and you wouldn't have to compete on price. We noticed this when working with clients with typical great offers, even offering to do a first placement for free. We even took it to the extreme and tested this, where we just said we would just do a placement for free. End of, right? There's no commitment to stay on after that. And there still was not enough value in this approach for it to convert clients. The reason being, there was too much skepticism and just not enough value to get someone interested. Instead, we'd run a back-to-back campaign and literally just said, we have an A name, we have an A player who has done XYZ, maybe achieved some sort of qualification, generated $1 million worth of sales, and been at their current company for 12 years, for example, for a sales manager. Are you interested in seeing their resumes? And we got a ton of replies. And this is the same audience that we're going at. We're saying we'll literally play someone for free. That didn't get interest. But saying we've got someone like this did get interest. So this obviously led us to realize that candidate-led business development is the way forward and the most highest converting type of outbound. Of course, this actually begs the question now, right? About the candidate pool. Is your candidate pool big enough? Is it good enough? Will these candidates actually be placed on and on, right? There's lots of questions that pop up. So we think there's two main ways to approach this problem. We either build your candidate pool and use these candidates. So use active candidates you have in your candidate pool right now, or we build a rockstar candidate, and I'll put this in sort of inverted commas, and use it as an MPC, right? You've got two options to do here. Either one will work. Ultimately, a rockstar candidate that is perfect will probably work slightly better, but it might lead to harder close rates or lower close rates on the back end, right? When opting for number two, so to build a rockstar candidate, this will of course lead to effectively more work. If you're just marketing someone you've already got in your pool, it will be as simple as just writing down 3 bullet points about them, their best selling points, and marketing this out and saying, look, you're interested in speaking with this person, you're interested in seeing their resume, they're on the market for new opportunities right now, right? It would be very simple. However, when building a rockstar candidate, there's a bit more we need to do. This is effectively a bit of a faster method, like you don't have to go and source the candidates yourself first. It will be easier to book calls, however, it will require some more sales on the back end. And what I mean by that is if a hiring manager says, oh, that person's great, I want to speak to them, then of course it would beg the question of, getting around that objection. Because at the end of the day, it's just an objection. We can overcome it. We don't want your company to be seen in a bad light. So if you don't want to do this or don't feel comfortable with your sales, getting around this, then of course that's not the option for you. However, something that works really well is just saying, yeah, of course, like we have this candidate. Just to be completely transparent with you, they're in talks with other companies right now. We've got 3 or 4 other people who would be very similar to this person. Should we have a chat about this? Then as soon as you get that call booked, and that's typically how you'd want to get the call, then you would disqualify the original Rockstar candidate as you ask the qualification questions. So maybe ask questions about their culture, how long they've been in business, what they do, what the office culture is like, that sort of thing. And as you get these answers, you slowly start to disqualify a candidate you originally presented and bring in new candidates and say, look, actually, I'm speaking with someone on and off who I think this will be a really, really good fit for. Do you mind if I speak to them? And that will hopefully lead to getting the terms signed. But ultimately, to build this Rockstar candidate, it's never been easier to use AI to do this, so you can use AI to do this. However, I think it would actually be even better, given your experience and how much knowledge you have on the market, to create the candidate of your client's dreams yourself. So what we've got here is an activity to list down 10 things that your candidate would have/do to be the perfect candidate, right? Ultimately, once you've written those 10 things, we want to boil this down into 3 main selling points using industry-specific terminology and qualifications. So it's not just the fact that they've generated X amount or been in a job for 12 years that makes them attractive. It's also the fact that we know what our clients are looking for. So if we drop specific terminology such as AutoCAD, maybe for an engineer, or Python, MATLAB, C, C++ programming languages, then it will say to our client that this person understands sort of what we're looking for. And we might not have a need for someone with Python, but do you have someone with, Ruby on Rails, for example, experience as a developer or a software engineer? Okay, so that's what you want to look out for. So it's always important to be super specific, and there's a correlation between the most placeable candidate campaigns that perform well and the ones that don't perform as well. The ones that are more specific with terminology and specific qualifications and skill sets, etc., work better, right? So the example could literally be saying, hey, I have a candidate who has 12 years of experience using AutoCAD to build projects for mechanical engineering companies. Obviously, this would be targeted to them. Advanced programming skills in languages such as, so-and-so, and has been at their last role for 7 years and is a relocatable citizen. So it's basically ticking off all the boxes. Like, this is someone who's great. And this will get interest and open the door, right? And that's all we need, is we just need that foot in the door, that initial conversation, so then we can take it from there. And building the perfect candidate doesn't have to be the way, but it can get a lot of calls booked. Even if you're using your own candidates, that's absolutely fine. But what you want to do is not send resumes. Obviously, you'd redact the resume anyway, but you don't want to send resumes. You want to figure out the key selling points of that candidate, like basically what actually makes them attractive to hiring managers, and leverage this. They're not going to spend all day looking for a resume. They won't have time for that. What they might be interested in, if you send 3 bullet points of your candidate and the main attractive things about them, like basically what they've been able to achieve and how that's helped the last companies they've been at, then that will be more likely to convert and generate interest than just either sending a resume or going with a typical other type of approach. So we see that if you can build your perfect candidate or your rockstar candidate and market this will help get your foot in the door, right? So it's just good to be aware of this. It's good to note down things that a perfect candidate would look like for your client, because this is the offer. It's not really it's not going in for super low fees or doing a first placement for free. It's nothing like that. It's about building a really, really good, solid candidate and marketing that out to the companies that we're looking to work with. So hopefully that makes sense and that's clear, but this hopefully will wrap up the bit around building your offer and your market. Just to make it clear that as a recruitment agency, your offer is the strength of your candidates and the strength of your network, and that's what we want to play off. So the more we can leverage that, the better success we'll have in the outbound campaigns. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Fill out the 10 things that a perfect candidate would look like. Write some bullet points of your key candidates, and let's start marketing them and see what we get back.